Hello. This lesson focuses on sanitation planning to ensure the safety of your household in a disaster or another emergency when municipal sewer systems aren't working. The objectives for this brief course are to describe potential sanitation problems in a disaster, identify items you need to safely address sanitation issues in a disaster, and to explain procedures you might take to ensure safe sanitation in your home during a disaster. So why do you need a sanitation plan? Well, according to Catherine McMullen, a critical infrastructure specialist for Utah's Division of Emergency Management, human waste is one of the deadliest substances on Earth. By the way, you can find her stuff under First Responder Mom on YouTube. She said, where sanitation is poor, death and disease are rampant. Our current systems for disposing of waste can be affected by many situations. If we lose water, we lose sewer. If we lose power for an extended time, we also lose sewer. In an earthquake or landslide, sewer lines can rupture. Max Gillenskog, a retired environmental health scientist with the U.S. Public Health Service and the Bear River Health Department, said we can't expect the government to immediately run in and fix things, especially in rural communities. Personal and family planning and preparedness are essential. Many people might think the solution is simple: dig a hole in the backyard. But if not done correctly, this will invite animals, vermin, and insects that will spread disease. It's also illegal in many communities. After Haiti was devastated by an earthquake in 2010, it was hit by an outbreak of cholera. This secondary disaster affected more than 1 million people. With better sanitation, this could have been prevented, or at least fewer people might have been impacted. So before we get any further, let's just say it. What we're talking about here is poop and pee. Safe sanitation during a disaster is a three-step process. The first step is short-term collection. This requires separating the waste. The second step is stopping the flow, or more specifically, stopping the backflow. And the last step is long-term storage and disposal. If the poop and pee can't go down the toilet, that means it needs to be collected and stored. Gillenskog explained that feces and urine together can be quite toxic, but separate, they're not nearly as dangerous. He recommended getting 2 5-gallon buckets with lids, one for number 1, another for number 2, and some plastic bags. 8-gallon bags work best. Line each bucket with a plastic bag, and use kitty litter in the number 2 bucket to absorb moisture and reduce odors. During a disaster or another emergency, when the sewer system is compromised, there's a good chance some of your neighbors won't be practicing safe sanitation, and that means there's a chance their sewage could back up into your home. To prevent this, you need to seal off your drains, primarily the ones on the lowest level of your home. For sinks, floor drains, bathtubs, washing machines, etc., you can get plumbing test plugs in a variety of sizes from your local hardware or plumbing store. They are simple. Just remove any covers from the drains, insert the plugs into each drain opening, and screw to tighten. These plugs are size specific, so you'll have to measure each drain in your home before heading to the store to buy them. If your bathtub or sink already has a stopper, use duct tape to secure it in place. Test plugs won't work for your toilets, but there's an easy solution. First, shut off the water to the toilet. Typically, this is a small valve against the wall under the toilet. Use a cup and a bucket to empty water from the reservoir in the bowl. Don't just flush it and contribute to your community sewer problems. Once empty, Take a racquetball or a tennis ball and drop it into a sock. Lubricate the sock with a little cooking oil and shove it into the drain at the bottom of the toilet bowl. Keep the top part of the sock up and in the bowl. This will serve as a handle to remove the ball when you're done. Those 5-gallon buckets you're using to separate and store waste can fill up pretty quickly. Jill and Skog suggested using a 25 to 30 gallon garbage can, barrel, or drum outdoors with a lid and lined with a plastic bag as an intermediate storage point before finding a permanent place for disposal. The individual sealed bags from the number 2 bucket can be placed in this barrel. Never store more than 30 gallons at a time. Remember, you'll have to lift the barrel to move it later. When it's time to empty that barrel, you should dig a hole at least 3 feet deep and 3 feet wide, at least 200 feet from any home or water source. At this point, you'll probably want gloves and a mask. Open and empty each bag into the hole between layers of kitty litter. Leave the bags on top of the waste and cover with hydrated lime. That's a soil treatment that's available at stores where you get your garden supplies. This will help deter animals and insects. Then cover everything with soil and a hard cover of some sort, like a piece of plywood, so the people don't step in it. That takes care of the poop. What about the pee? Well, urine is relatively safe and can be spread on a yard or field, away from homes and water sources. Now let's talk about some special considerations. Not everyone can sit on a bucket. So line your toilet under the toilet seat with a garbage bag. This allows sitting on it normally while collecting the waste in a bag. Elderly people can use a walker for support when they use the toilet or a bucket. Consider stacking 2 or 3 buckets to add height to your makeshift toilets. Septic systems are separate from municipal sewer systems and won't be affected if sewer systems are compromised during a disaster. Campers and other RVs often have toilets and holding tanks for sewage, but they will fill up and require disposal. Because of the volume they hold, disposal will be much more difficult if sewer systems are still compromised. Toilet paper should be thrown in with the poop. Feminine sanitary products, however, should be disposed in the garbage. Don't wait until the disaster to get all of the things you'll need or to figure out how they work. Get them now and practice. You're going to need 2 5-gallon buckets with lids, a 25 to 30 gallon garbage can, barrel, or drum with a lid, plumbing test plugs, socks, tennis or racket balls, cooking oil, lots of plastic bags, 8 gallon for the buckets, 30 gallons for the barrels, duct tape, kitty litter, hydrated lime, gloves, masks, sanitizer to clean the buckets and barrels, even though the waste is contained in bags, and of course, a shovel. This QR code will take you to a sanitation guide developed by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It has been archived on their site, but the information is still good. This QR code will take you to the Be Ready Utah Preparedness website, where you'll find a bunch of great tips and links to even more useful information. This concludes our lesson on disaster sanitation. If you have any questions, use the QR codes on the previous slides to find answers or email us at roadmap@brhd.org. Thank you.